So, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're back in the Limud in Shulchan Aruch, Resh Mem Bet, Resh Mem Vav, 246. V'Siv Katan, we were discussing in the middle of Mishnah Berurah, Tet, Yud Bet, Siv Katan Yud Bet, page Tet or Yud Bet, all the way there. So we said that the Jews are commanded, so by the way, today is the 7th of Mar Cheshvan, which is Erev Shabbat Friday, 6th day of the week of Parashat Shabbat, Lech Lecha. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're continuing here in Yud Bet, Siv Katan Yud Bet. Al Shvitat Behemdos. We are commanded to not allow basically not allow to labor our animals. Dichtiv, as it says, Lema'an Yanuch Shorcha B'cham Morecha. The Torah tells us explicitly, that on Shabbat your animals, your ox and your donkeys must rest. And it continues on that. Even though you would rent an animal to a goy, we know that the renting is not an acquisition, meaning rent is mine, even though he has to pay you for any damages and everything, right? He is responsible for the item. But when you're renting, it's not acquisition for you did not sell it to the goy. The Haviyala behemto shel Israel mitzuvah al shvitata, and it happens to be it's still his animal, and therefore you are obligated to keep it from laboring on Shabbat. V'yesh omrim, you there? V'yesh omrim the lechumra amrinan deschirut kanya. However, for a stringent opinion, they say that whenever you rent items, it's actually there is an acquisition. However, there's a chumrah the other way around. If you rented an animal from a goy, now, because of that opinion that holds renting is acquisition, so therefore you're obligated to make sure the animal that you rented from a goy does not do any labor on Shabbat. So two-way street. We're always like this. We have kula on one side, no chumrah on both sides actually. Chumrah is that my animal goy rents, he did not buy it, therefore it's mine and I cannot work on Shabbat. But if I take an animal from the goy, the other way around, also chumrah is that I bought it. And therefore, it cannot work on Shabbat for me. Amazing. And it's appropriate to do chumrah, to be more stringent, because asur deoraita, because it is the reason why we are machamir both ways, because it's a prohibition of Torah. Wow. However, if you're in the business of America, how people make money in America? It's amazing. America, you actually make money on things that don't belong to you.
So how is it that we can ask a goy if an animal is not allowed to work on Shabbat? So how can we ask a goy when we need to for the, let's say the AC or something, whatever?
Okay, no, 1 second. No, the goy is not your possession. Over there, we're talking about your possession, your animal.
Because it becomes yours.
Right. So let's just put that for a second on the side. Over there, for tzibur also, and b'mkom tza'ar lo gazrinan. Remember, it's all gzerat al-chachamim, and we have a general rule when there is suffering, the rules of the gzerot of chachamim don't apply. When there is suffering, I told the guy, "What's the problem? A goy comes in and turns on for you electricity, or turns on for you air conditioning, especially. What are you going to tell a guy to sleep in a 90-degree weather?" I did. My air conditioner broke a few times. We had my landlord didn't want to pay and repair it. We had over 90 degrees nights. Who wants to sleep in 90-degree nights? All right. Anyway, it was cooler to sleep outside than inside the house. So he says like this. Let's just finish the thought over here. Mm-hmm. That we are machmir, right? We have to be machmir because of the Doraita. But very important, Nikudah, the rabbi says over here. Let's say, as I was saying, in America, there is a way to make money and not with your money. It's not yours. You make money anyway. What is it? So he says you rented equipment, you rented animals from a goy, and then you rented them out, sub rent to another goy. Mutar. This is what it says. He says, "Schara me'enu Yehudi, v'chazar v'izkira le'enu Yehudi, sharei me'man nafshach." If I took the animal and rented it to a goy, and the other goy is making a job with it, and he's paying me, so I pay one goy $5, I get paid $25 from the other goy. Halas, it's okay. That's appropriate. ואם קנה בהמה מאינו יהודי, או מכר לאינו יהודי, ממשיכה לחוד, או בכסף לחוד, הווה ספיקה דדינה, והזדינה לחומרה, לעניין שמיטת וימה תוספת. Okay, so now, if you acquired from a goy, but acquiring the animals have to be acquired with a certain phase. What does that mean? Two things have to happen. Usual acquisitions are with money, and then the lifting the item, right? So the Gemara over there goes, big deal. Well, how do you buy an elephant then? How do you buy an elephant from a goy? How do you buy an elephant b'chlal?
How do you buy a donkey?
Donkey, you pull it.
Oh, you pull it.
So how do you do the elephant? You pull him, he's gonna, you know what, you're gonna pull an elephant? Where are you gonna pull him? There is a rule that elephant, once he stands in one place, if he doesn't want to move, he can't move. And the Gemara says even more than that. You take a rope, you just tie it on its neck, right? And you take a pin and you put a rope into the pin. I'm talking about a pin, literally a little pin. Take a little nail, 4-inch nail, put a rope on the 4-inch nail, put it into the ground, and tie the neck to the elephant, and he sees it. Khalas, he ain't moving forever. He'll die there. That's elephants, so stubborn. They won't move. He's afraid of to move. He thinks that he's just going to hurt himself. He's going to hurt his neck. It's like heredity. They're born with it. The Gemara says amazing. The Gemara discusses over there. You want to use the elephant for a wall of a sukkah. Amazing. So now, so the rule is if you
tie a rope around his neck.
Once you tie the rope around his neck or his leg, doesn't matter where. Tie the neck.
And you put a nail in front of his foot, in front of his.
And you put the nail into the rope, and you put that piece into the ground. Finished. And if it doesn't want to move, will never move. So two things are required. We must move an animal, do mashicha, and pay for it. Two things. So what about here? A person, the Berurah says, what did he do? He only gave money, or he only did mashicha. He didn't pay money yet, but he took the animal. He has to pay him later on credit. Or he pays him and the animal will be brought to his house. So now, how do you do with the elephant? The elephant over there, you have to put him on the platform and the wagon, get him onto the wagon and pull the wagon, and that's it. That's how you buy the animal, the elephant. By the way, the Gemara says over there. But you see over here that there has to be two things. So says Mishnah Berurah, what happens if you perform only one, or pulling the animal and you pay him later, or you give him the money and you pull the animal later on Shabbat? Can this animal do work for you? So we also, since it's not a full kinyan, still we go to Chumrah. Still we go to Chumrah, not allow the animal to work. Yud Gimel. So the Shulchan Aruch says, "Eino Yehudi, Eino Yehudi Neiman." Oh, so Mishnah Shulchan Aruch told us, you cannot tell a goy he took from you the equipment on Friday, on Sunday, on Monday, let's say, and he's going to return it to you in a month. And he guarantees to you, signs a piece of paper that says 5 minutes before sunset on Friday and 5 minutes after the stars come out on Motzei Shabbat, this animal will not work. Right? So Shulchan Aruch already pre-warned us, and he says, no. We cannot trust the goy to fulfill his promise. And also, you might think, the Mishnah Berurah says, what about fear? You know, he's afraid that you're not going to lend him the animals anymore, rent him the animals. Maybe that in itself will be, a fear will be enough. He says, no. Why not? כיוון שהיא ברשותו על ידי שאלה או שכירות, לא נתפס עליה כגנב על ידי זה. Since the goy has full possession and the animal is in his property, okay, since the goy has the animal in his property, there is no mirta. We cannot say there's fear. There is like, he's going to be afraid. Therefore, says Mishnah Shulchan Aruch tells us explicitly, no, not allowed to trust a goy that he's not going to work with on Shabbat. מה שאין כן ברישא כשמתענה שיחזירנה לו קודם שבת כבר קלטה השאלה לזכירות קודם השבת ואין כמובן סימן אוקיי. However, if you told him מה שאין כן ברישא כשמתנה שיחזירנה לו מקודם. Oh. But later on, right, Shulchan Aruch says to us that what about if you made a condition that he's going to return to you on Shabbat, right? We spoke, but what happens if he doesn't return to you on Shabbat? So we said you have to do hefker, right? Shulchan Aruch told us that you do hefker, and you disown the animal, right? So, but even though you made a condition, good. So no, sorry. Mr. Berurah says, when does this Shulchan Aruch apply that you cannot rely? When that you cannot rely on trusting a goy is when he what's his name? He took it from you before Shabbat, and he did not make any conditions. So there, you're calling him up or something. He comes to your house and he says, "You know what? Don't worry." You tell him, "Habibi, return the animal. It's Shabbat." No, I don't worry. I will not work. Will not work with you, right? So he says, "No, that you cannot trust a goy." But in the scenario where you made a contract with him for a whole month, and you agree that he's not going to work on Shabbat, or he's going to return to you before Shabbat, right? He has to return it to you. Shulchan Aruch says you cannot trust him. You can't trust him that he's not going to work with it on Shabbat. So we tell him, okay, return it before Shabbat, 5 minutes before, and take 5 minutes after. So let's say the goy made up an excuse, and he doesn't want to return it. So over there, we already said, the Shulchan Aruch told us, you have to be mafkir, you have to disown it, and give it like own of the goy. You dalet.
Meaning before Shabbat.
Yes, now it's going to discuss that option. Yavkirena, so in Yudalet, Mishnah Berurah, Siv Katan Yudalet, he says you have to be mafkir, disown it. Zeo davka b'diavad shekvar hitna imo v'ikva b'Shabbat. This is specifically, you're not allowed to do this as a general practice. Let me write it to him. And no, you have to make sure there was a condition that he's going to return the animal to you on Shabbat. He has to return it. You rent it to him for a month, 2 months, doesn't matter, for a year. Every time Shabbat, he must return the animal. Okay? But only at the time, says Mishnah Berurah, it works, this condition of disowning it. You might think, oh, let me just disown it every Friday, right? No. That it only works if there was a secondary cause that caused them not to return the animal. Aval lechatchila, you there?
Like what?
Let's say traffic, I don't know. Something happened. His truck broke down. He can't bring the animal back.
Otherwise, if you
Here, let's see. Otherwise, aval. Otherwise, lechatchila asur laskira al dat shegiya yom haShabbat yavkirena. But it's prohibited to rent it for a whole week. But when Shabbat comes, you will make it this ownership. That's asur. Not allowed to do that. If that's in your mind when you're renting it. That's asur. That's what you were going to ask, right?
I know. I was going to ask if you already made it hefker, what happens the following week? That's it? You can't benefit anymore? You can't have an arm from that animal anymore?
No, it's still yours. We said that last week. That's you're mafkir on that condition. So Mishnah Berurah, Ramah said that.
But if you made
you really don't lose it.
If you made it hefker,
good. So no.
What happens on Sunday?
No, you could say a different one. Were you on the football? We discussed that. What happens? We made a condition that it's a special hefker. The people who you have to be mafkir in front. You cannot do it in front of your children. You have to actually have 2 adults from outside, 2 shul people.
And it can't even belong to a boy.
No, that's right. But it also cannot belong. And those 2 that heard you say mafkir, they cannot claim to it ownership. Because this is a special hefker.
They cannot claim.
They cannot say, yeah, okay, but they could say, okay, I'm taking the animal after Shabbat.
Why?
Why not? Kol hakodem zocher.
That wasn't the agreement.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
What is hefker?
1 second.
What is hefker?
Oh, hefker means
garbage. So kol hakodem zocher. I go to the goy's house.
To the goy.
I understand. There's 2 Jews. One of them goes to the goy,
Because they're
It
witnesses.
says it's my animal now. He disowned it. I'm taking the claim. I'm making the claim. Okay, you cannot do that on Shabbat. There's a specific because it's called. Ramah said it's not. It's out of option. You didn't have an option, and you made it care. But the other ones cannot acquire it. Okay. עד שיגיע יום השבת המקרנה, ואפילו אם יבקרנה בפני שלושה, even if you went and took 3 people and you told them it's מופקר, it's disowned, שאין הכל יודעים מן ההפקר ועד לידי השדה ויאמרו שבהמתו של ישראל עושה מלאכה בשבת. He says, now we're going to give you a different problem. If you rented it to go, let's say on Sunday, or the whole week, and you had in mind that you're going to be mafkir, and you actually went to shul, you took 3 Rabbanim and you said, I'm mafkir, okay, good. Still going to be a problem. What's the problem? If you did this lechatchila, you did this on purpose, there's going to be a different weight on you, on the person, the weight of that the fact is that it's an animal that everybody knows belongs to Abraham. If an animal belongs to Abraham, everybody knows it, so how you have your animal working on Shabbat? Now we're going to be a different problem. ואב במכירה אין היתר אלא כשמוכר בהמתו לאין היהודים במכירה גמורה על כל ימי השבוע. So too, במכירה, לא כשמוכר, לא, בשבת נכון. And also, says, well, yeah, if you want to make it into, you're selling it to him. Let's say you made a deal that he's renting it for you, from you Sunday through Friday, and on Shabbat, every Saturday you made a contract. He really owns the animal now. He owns it. He bought it. The guy now owns it.
You can make a contract with them?
So let's say you made such a contract. He says doesn't do anything. Because
this contract doesn't do anything.
That's right. That's all. You cannot sell your animal for Shabbat only. Play games.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I'm saying it doesn't.
Technically speaking, it doesn't make sense.
If it's sold, it's sold.
Good, no. Yes or no? You could sell animals.
I mean, yeah.
You could sell animals. Really, not what's his name. In that kind of concept. I mean, you want to get over from the point of view, the standpoint of view that you don't want to get punished from Hashem, so you're selling it on Shabbat. So, well, technically, did you sell it on Shabbat? Yes. Are you getting it back Motzei Shabbat? Yes. So but right now it's sold. But if it's a sold animal, sold. So the rabbi says here, no. If that's your plan, that is not allowed. I guess it's a knas. Maybe it's a restriction from Rabbanan. It's an extra, prevention that you should not be able to do such things. Okay, אבל במכירה אין היתר אלא כשמוכר בהמתו לאינו יהודי במכירה גמורה על כל ימי השבוע ולא כשמוכר לו יום שבת לחוד. You're allowed to sell to a goy your animal for a month. You're allowed to sell it. But it has to be a sale for a whole month. But it's not rent. Literally, so let's say, what would be the difference? Rental is $100 a month. Selling is $1,000. Right? You sold it to him for a month, and then he sells it back to you for $500 or $800. Right? As long as there's no schiruti involved. That will be allowed because now it's sold. As long as there is going to be the talk that you are doing business on Shabbat, that's a problem. But I guess no, but you sold it. No, you sold. I'm not talking about where are you coming from. You're selling your animal for Shabbat, for the whole month, right? You sold it for $1,000. If you just rented it, it would be $100. You sold it for $1,000. Good. Now, after a month, he wants to sell it back to you. Okay, if that's the story, that's the story. Not a problem. But to sell just on Shabbat and then get it back on the next week, the next day, it's not good. That's not acceptable. So now this is all we're talking about Shulchan Aruch and the other Achronim. However, Bach, okay, he disagrees and he says even you could rent it for a whole month and have in your mind, I'm renting it for the whole month, but on Shabbat I'm mafkir. Okay, that's Bach. The Kivan, because he did it, because now what happened? When does he do Hefker? He specifically, Zohar, he has to do Hefker in front of 3 people. You want to get coffee upstairs?
3 people?
You want to get a coffee? I need a coffee also.
Yes.
Let's propose over here and get a coffee. Milk is not. Okay. You know, Chinese people don't drink milk at all. Don't eat nothing, nothing. It's not healthy at all. Milk is for cows.
I don't touch milk.
Milk is for cows. People don't understand that. Anyway, now Habach Matir. So we said already the Bach. The Kivan Shlosha. Oh, why are you allowed to do it in front of 3, and even rent it with mafkir for Shabbat lechatchila? Says Habach, the Kivan Shlosha Yodim meparseman merta lo yerdei chashada. Because you did have care, you did this ownership where in front of the 3 people. What happens in front of 3 people? Everybody talks about it. That's it. Once it's done in front of 3, the whole world knows. So there is no.
So 2 is okay.
2 is not okay. 2 would be a big problem. Yeah. 3 is okay.
Why can't you have 2 witnesses? Why do you need 3?
3 is, so he's telling you 3 is because more people will talk about it. Everything that's 3, if you notice by Mishnah Berurah, 3, everybody, it's a knowledge.
But 2 is enough, no?
No, 2 is enough la'alacha. But 3 would, if the Bach says, if you did it in front of 3, okay, that will be spread the word, and because it spread the word, we're not worried about people suspecting that your animals work on Shabbat.
Ah. So there's no marida in.
Yes. בשעת הלכה כבשה שיש לסמוך על דבריו. Let's see number 2 over there, איש מצליח. Right above Tetvav. So, שיש לסמוך על דבריו, if there is a great need, you're allowed to be somech, you're allowed to rely on Bach, not to worry about Chashad, because 3 people know.
I didn't ask you if you want some.
I'm good. Thank you.
ובסוף הסימן נבאר אם ירצה השם. So later on we'll discuss it more. Okay. What does Mishnah Matzliach want to add here? Look inside Mishnah Matzliach number 2. ובכף החיים כתב דענן קיימלן כדעת מרן או דאימי דלכתחילה אסור להזכירה על דעת שיבחרנה אחר כך. Says כף החיים, I don't understand what you're saying, we accept the Maran, and Maran says clearly to make such a deal like the Bach says that you're gonna disown it every Shabbat, that is not acceptable at all. However, if it's a real need, נראה דשאר להזכירה על דעת שיבחרנה אחר כך מפני שלושה. However, if it's you're allowed to rent it in such a case where there is no choice, that you're going to be mafkiret, that you're going to disown it in front of 3, שהרי מרן בבית יוסף מצדד בזה להקל, because we see that Maran Bet Yosef himself is telling you that we will be more lenient. רק כיוון שלא מצא בזה היתר ברור לא כתבו בשולחן ערוך. But why didn't Maran bring in the Shulchan Aruch? Because he did not find a clearly such idea stated without any doubt, and therefore he didn't bring in the Shulchan Aruch. כמו שכתב בכף החיים גופיהם. אז הכפיים brought it down. ועיין, שם הוא מצד ההפסד והפקר בשבת אין איסור. And of course, obviously, that once you do the hefker on Shabbat, there is no prohibition because it's not yours. Technically speaking, it's not yours. You were disowning it. כמו שהעריך בזה בחזון עובדיה. חזון עובדיה explains to them. Rav Ovadia Yosef explains that yes, technically speaking, it's not yours anymore. So therefore, if you did hefker, if you did this ownership for Shabbat, it's not מדורייתא, you're not able to...
אותו דבר עושים עם החמץ בארץ ישראל, לפני
not
פסח.
אותו דבר, over there specific.
מוכרים ואחרי פסח קונים חזרה.
Right, over here it's not called מוכרים.
בשקל פחות הוא קונה את זה חזרה.
No.
הממשלה. ככה זה היה בארץ, כאילו שהיו מדברים על זה. They were speaking in Israel, then Passover, they sell the chametz. And then after Passover, they buy it for 1 shekel less.
Not chametz. What happened is the government, I guess...
Own containers of chita and...
flour, yeah. Which is chametz. So how would you do it? I mean, it's not... I don't know who explained it. Maybe it was a wrong explanation. It's very simple. On Shabbat, what we do is we make a contract with the goy.
Yeah.
Make a contract.
The contract
Yeah,
expires.
so it's like a fake sale.
No, it doesn't expire.
It doesn't expire.
What happens is you give him $1,000. Okay, you give a guy $1,000 as a gift. Then you tell him, okay, listen, I have over here $1 million worth of wheat, chametz. Give me $100 now. I give you 8 days to come up with the rest of $1 million. If you don't come in 7 days with $1 million, batla iska. You keep the $900 that I gave you. Give $1,000 that I gave you.
You do it with the
You paid me $100 as an initiation deposit. And now you didn't bring me $1 million. Everything belongs back to the Jews. But that was again. This is b'diavad. This is not. Should not be a common practice. That's why Bukharians don't have such a minhag. A person should get rid of really all of his chametz, real chametz. Okay, so we do the
real chametz meaning real
macaroni,
chametz.
pasta,
Macaroni.
anything that's real chametz must be burned. Must be burned, and it's a mitzvah of burning everything you have in your house. You have 1,000 pounds of chametz, you burn it all, and Hashem will reward you for that 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
It's not baltashchit at all. No baltashchit at all. That's right. Now, who is this created? The whole mechira, originally, the Ben Ish Chai says it was created for store owners. The businessmen.
Not to destroy the business.
That's right, not to destroy the business. If you're going to tell a business owner that we're going to destroy your business tomorrow, nobody will be selling flour. There'll be asur. Am Yisrael will be starving. Okay? So there, the Chachamim give a heter specifically for store owners. That's all. People became lazy.
The state considers a store owner because
I don't care about the state now. We're not talking about the general public. We're not talking about specific. We're talking about now general public. Should not be done. Bukhari never had such a concept. Never had such a concept. There was Rabbi Rabin in the 1800s, in the late 1800s, they had a ra'af. They had no water. They had no rain.
So what do you do?
One time he allowed.
What do you do at a liquor store? What do you do?
Oh, so liquor store, liquor is not chametz.
Even if you have a bakery.
Liquor.
Bakery. Yeah.
Liquor is not.
The bakery.
Bakery.
Liquor really.
No, but the rabbi is saying you got to.
Really, liquor is not chametz. Not much
really,
chametz.
liquor is
Not chametz. Not chametz. Right?
Why not?
Which dog, first of all, will drink from it? You have a dog that will drink your liquor? Right, so there's a lot of discussion about it. There's a lot of discussion about liquors.
It's something that's made
so
from
what do we do? What do we do?
It's in the liquor, you're benefiting from the chametz.
So what do we do?
You're not going to have whiskey.
You're right.
Vodka is a
You
problem.
can make whiskey
Not
from
vodka.
rice.
Vodka, no problem.
Potatoes.
Whiskey.
Whiskey also could be made out of things that not to do with wheat. Not always. Habibi, it doesn't matter. Even if it is made from wheat, is it chametz? Is it not chametz? The best thing is. So lechoira, that's what we sell. We sell things that don't have real chametz in it, but let's say it has chametz in it, but it's not real chametz in front of you. So there's a lot of discussion. Or the things that are, let's say, nivla, or you could find later after Pesach, you find in the habaz of this box of spaghetti. Beta'ut you sell, but lechatchila it's not acceptable. If you have a minhag yadua, if there's a custom known not to sell, we don't sell. The Shchai only allowed us for store owners. That's it. Everything in the house was burned. Everything. And Bukharians, I don't know, today we came to America, everybody, Baruch Hashem, we think now, look at Ashkenazim, they're probably...
There's who to rely on.
No, we don't do that.
When I was growing up, we were not religious. But...
Nothing.
My mom...
That's right, she was smart.
My wife
could be becoming religious.
My wife said their
bit
whole life they were not religious. When it came to Pesach in Israel,
that's it. I think there. No chokhmot. But again, it's not.
They wouldn't buy. My wife said she wouldn't even buy a cup of coffee in the Dunkin' Donuts.
Baruch Hashem.
They were not. Imagine, it's amazing.
Yeah. Chamed, this is we have.
This is something that's passed down the minhag.
It's okay.
זה הניצוץ, it's a,
okay.
you grow up like
but
this.
But over here, what happening is you're really selling the animal to the goy, right? Or not even selling, you're doing it care. So Shulchan Aruch says, lechatchila we're not going to allow it. Just Kafachaim, Ish Mazliach says, why didn't he bring down in Shulchan Aruch? He says because it's not clearly in other poskim that it's allowed to be mafkir, rented for the whole month. and say, I'll be mafkir on Shabbat. I'll disown it on Shabbat. That will not be allowed. Baruch Adonai Olam, Amen. Amen will continue B'ezrat Hashem on Monday.
אבל רגע,
If whoever needs to make parnasa, לכו תתפרנסו בנחת בשפע ובמצחה, without any tzarot, without any problems, only with good health.
Amen.
אמן.